Commander Natasha Petrov stood at the bridge of the UES Thunderstrike, her weathered hands resting on the polished command rail as she watched Neptune's blue sphere drift past the viewscreen. 20 years of service in the United Earth Space Fleet had taught her to trust her instincts, and right now, those instincts were screaming that something was wrong. "Lieutenant Rodriguez, run another sweep of the sector," she ordered, her voice carrying the quiet authority that had earned her crew's unwavering loyalty. "Again, Commander?" Rodriguez asked, though his fingers were already dancing across the holographic controls. "This would be our fourth sweep in 2 hours. Sometimes the fourth time shows you what you missed the first three," Petrov replied, a hint of a smile playing at the corners of her mouth. The Thunderstrike was humanity's newest warship, a testament to technological achievement with its quantum sensors and antimatter-powered engines. But even the most advanced technology couldn't replace good old-fashioned human intuition. Chief Engineer Dmitry Volkov's voice crackled over the comm. "Commander, we're detecting unusual gravitational fluctuations at the edge of our sensor range. The patterns don't match anything in our database." Petrov straightened, her steel-gray eyes narrowing. "Show me." The main display shifted, showing a complex wave pattern that seemed to pulse with an unnatural rhythm. Before she could analyze it further, the ship's AI, Sentinel, spoke up. "Warning. Unknown object approaching at velocities exceeding known physical limitations. Impact in 45 seconds. Battle stations." Petrov barked. "Tactical Officer Hassan, bring weapons online. Rodriguez, get me a visual." The bridge erupted into controlled chaos as warning klaxons blared. The approaching object finally appeared on their screens, a massive vessel that seemed to defy the laws of physics. Its hull was composed of what appeared to be flowing liquid metal, constantly shifting and reforming. "It's twice our size," Hassan reported, his voice steady despite the tension. "Energy readings are off the charts. Our sensors can't even classify their weapon systems." Petrov keyed the ship-wide comm. "All hands, this is the commander. Prepare for possible hostile contact. This is not a drill." The alien vessel suddenly came to a complete stop, a maneuver that should have torn any ship apart. A transmission burst through their communications system, bypassing all encryption protocols. The voice that emerged was unlike anything human ears had ever heard, a harmonious blend of musical tones that somehow formed words. "Primitive vessel, you have been detected. Your existence represents an anomaly in the grand design. Submit to immediate analysis and deconstruction, or face obliteration. You have 10 seconds to power down your systems." Petrov's jaw tightened. "Sentinel, analyze that transmission. Look for any weaknesses in their communication protocols." "Processing," the AI responded. "Their technology appears to operate on principles we haven't even theorized yet. However, I'm detecting patterns in their energy signatures that suggest." The AI never finished its sentence. A beam of pure white energy lanced out from the alien ship, slicing through the Thunderstrike's strongest shields like they weren't even there. The entire ship shuddered as emergency bulkheads slammed shut. "Direct hit." Volkov shouted over the comm. "Port armor is completely gone. Whatever that weapon was, it ignored our defensive fields entirely." Petrov's mind raced. They couldn't win this fight, not directly. But running wasn't an option either. The alien ship's speed capabilities meant they'd be caught before they could reach the nearest reinforcements. "Hassan, load all missile tubes with quantum warheads. Rodriguez, plot me a course through Neptune's rings. Volkov, I need everything you can give me from the engines." "Commander," Sentinel interjected, "conventional tactics have a 0% chance of success against their technology level." Petrov allowed herself a grim smile. "Who said anything about conventional tactics? Sometimes the best way to win is to change the rules of the game entirely." As the alien vessel prepared for another attack, the Thunderstrike began what would become one of the most daring maneuvers in human military history. What they discovered in the next few minutes would change the course of human history forever, and teach their mysterious attackers that sometimes, the most dangerous prey is the one that refuses to simply lie down and die. The thunderstrike plunged into Neptune's rings, ice particles scattering across its quantum shields like stardust. Commander Petrov watched the tactical display with unwavering focus as the alien vessel followed, its liquid metal hull rippling in the planet's magnetic field. "They're adapting to the debris field," Lieutenant Rodriguez reported, his fingers flying across the navigation controls. "Their hull is literally reshaping itself to optimize their movement." "Volkov, status on that theory of yours?" Petrov demanded over the comm. The chief engineer's voice crackled back, breathless but excited. "The readings are confirming it, Commander. Their energy weapons might be beyond our comprehension, but their targeting systems follow predictable quantum mathematics. They're calculating our movements before we make them." Petrov allowed herself a thin smile. Finally, a weakness they could exploit. "Sentinel, run analysis protocol Gamma. Show me their prediction patterns." The AI overlaid a series of ghostly projections on the tactical display, showing where the alien vessel expected them to go. Each path represented the mathematically optimal escape route, and therefore, exactly where they shouldn't be. "Hassan, prepare a spread of quantum mines. Set them to masked mode," Petrov ordered. "Rodriguez, on my mark, I want you to do something completely irrational." The tactical officer's hands hovered over his console. "Define irrational, Commander." "Fly like you're drunk, terrified, and have no idea what you're doing." Understanding dawned on the bridge crew's faces. The alien ship's superiority was built on prediction and calculation. Time to show them how unpredictable humans could be. The thunderstrike suddenly began to tumble, its movement pattern resembling a damaged vessel losing control. Ice particles from Neptune's rings scattered in their wake, creating a chaotic sensor shadow. "They're taking the bait," Hassan reported. "Their weapon systems are charging, targeting where they think we'll be." The alien beam weapon fired, cutting through empty space where the thunderstrike would have been if it had followed standard evasive protocols. Instead, Petrov's ship was spinning in what looked like a desperate attempt to regain control, but was actually a carefully choreographed dance through their own minefield. "Now!" Petrov commanded. The quantum mines detonated in sequence, creating a cascade of gravitational distortions. The alien vessel's liquid metal hull rippled violently as it tried to compensate for the unexpected spatial distortions. "Direct hit to their sensor arrays," Hassan called out triumphantly. "Their targeting efficiency has dropped by 30%. But victory was short-lived. The alien ship's hull began to reconfigure, sprouting new sensor appendages to replace the damaged ones. Their next transmission carried a note of what almost sounded like respect beneath its harmonic tones. "Interesting strategy, primitive ones. Your species shows unexpected adaptability. This makes you even more valuable for analysis. Prepare for comprehensive deconstruction." Multiple weapon ports opened along the alien vessel's hull, each glowing with the same deadly white energy. But Petrov had anticipated this. "Volkov, initiate Protocol Omega. Rodriguez, maximum thrust." The thunderstrike's antimatter reactor suddenly vented a controlled burst of plasma, superheated by the quantum mine detonations still rippling through space. The resulting electromagnetic pulse caught the alien vessel just as it fired, causing their energy beams to scatter harmlessly into space. "They're vulnerable," Hassan shouted. "Their hull configuration is destabilized." Petrov knew they wouldn't get another chance like this. "All batteries, fire. Target their propulsion signatures." The thunderstrike's main guns roared to life, throwing everything they had at the temporarily destabilized alien ship. Most shots were absorbed by their still superior defenses, but one lucky hit found its mark. A small explosion blossomed along the alien vessel's aft section. "Minor damage to their propulsion systems," Sentinel reported. They're already beginning repairs, but their maximum speed has been reduced by 12%. Petrov nodded grimly. It wasn't much, but it was enough. Plot a course for the Kuiper belt. We need to warn Earth, and now we might just be fast enough to deliver that warning in person. As the Thunderstrike accelerated away from Neptune, its crew rode the razor's edge between hope and terror. They had wounded the mighty alien vessel, not much, but enough to prove it wasn't invincible. Yet Petrov knew the real battle was just beginning. Somewhere behind them, the alien ship would be analyzing everything it had learned about human tactics, adapting its strategies, becoming even more dangerous. The question wasn't if they would meet again, but when. And next time, their mysterious adversary would be ready for human unpredictability. The Thunderstrike's bridge was eerily quiet as they approached Mars' orbital space, the red planet looming against the star-filled backdrop. Commander Petrov hadn't slept in 36 hours, surviving on synthetic caffeine and sheer determination. The alien vessel had been following them, always staying just at the edge of their sensor range, like a predator stalking wounded prey. Status report, Petrov demanded, her voice hoarse from giving too many orders over too many hours. Engineering is running on emergency protocols, Volkov reported through the comm. We've repaired what we can, but our quantum shields are operating at 60% capacity. Any more stress and they'll fail completely. Lieutenant Rodriguez spoke up from his station. The alien vessel has maintained pursuit but hasn't attempted to close distance. Sentinel's analysis suggests they're studying our movement patterns. Learning our behaviors, Petrov muttered. Like scientists observing lab rats in a maze. She straightened in her command chair. Hassan, what's the status of Mars Defense Command? They're responding to our warnings, the tactical officer replied. 3 heavy cruisers are moving to intercept, and the orbital defense platforms are charging weapons. But Commander. He hesitated. Given what we've seen of their technology, I'm not sure it will be enough. Petrov knew he was right. They had barely survived their first encounter through unconventional tactics and pure luck. Even with reinforcements, they were still hopelessly outmatched in terms of raw technology. Sentinel's artificial voice cut through her thoughts. Commander, detecting energy surge from the pursuing vessel. Their configuration is changing. The main viewscreen showed their enemy undergoing a horrifying transformation. The liquid metal hull was flowing like quicksilver, sprouting multiple weapon arrays and what appeared to be secondary hulls, turning one massive ship into 3 distinct but connected vessels. They're splitting up, Rodriguez reported, shock evident in his voice. It's not one ship anymore, it's becoming a small fleet. The alien transmission came through once again, its harmonious tones now carrying an edge of finality. Analysis complete. Your species' capacity for adaptation represents both potential and threat. We have studied your responses sufficiently. Commencing species evaluation protocol. The 3 alien vessels moved with perfect coordination, each one accelerating on different vectors that would cut off any possible escape route. The Mars Defense Fleet's cruisers looked primitive in comparison, their solid hulls and conventional weapons systems suddenly seeming hopelessly obsolete. They're going to try to hurt us, Petrov realized. Force us into a predetermined combat zone where they can study how we fight when cornered. Her mind raced through options, each one worse than the last. Volkov, remember that theoretical discussion we had about quantum shield harmonics? The one that would probably blow up the ship. The chief engineer's voice was incredulous. Commander, that was pure speculation. We have no idea if the math even works. Better than certain death, Petrov countered. Begin the calculations. Hassan, establish link with Mars Defense Command. I need their ships to follow our lead exactly. As orders were relayed and preparations made, Petrov watched the alien vessels continue their elaborate dance. They were beautiful in their deadly efficiency, every movement precisely calculated. But there was something almost arrogant in that precision, an assumption that they had fully understood and categorized human capabilities. All hands, Petrov keyed the ship-wide comm, what we're about to attempt has never been done before. It probably violates half a dozen laws of physics and all of our safety protocols. But right now, our job isn't just to survive, it's to show these beings that humanity can't be so easily categorized and controlled. The Thunderstrike's engines flared to life as they began what might be their final maneuver. The Mars Defense Fleet fell into formation behind them, their captains trusting in Petrov's desperate gamble. As the alien vessels moved to spring their trap, none of them seemed to notice that the quantum shields of the human ships were beginning to pulse in an unusual pattern. Petrov gripped her command rail and allowed herself a grim smile. Let's show them what happens when you back humans into a corner. Sometimes, we don't just break the rules, we rewrite them entirely. The space around Mars was about to become a testing ground for a theory that might save humanity or destroy the entire fleet. But as Petrov had learned long ago, the most dangerous moment in any battle was when your enemy thought they had you completely figured out. Behind them, Mars glowed red in the darkness, a silent witness to the battle that would determine the fate of all human-inhabited worlds. The moment of truth arrived with a quiet intensity. The Phoenix paradigm emerged from quantum space directly in the heart of Nexus collective territory. Where previous encounters would have resulted in immediate destruction, something entirely different happened. The ship didn't just resist the Nexus collective's attempts to deconstruct it, it began to communicate. Dr. Samira Hassan's breakthrough in quantum emotional resonance came to full fruition. The ship wasn't just a weapon or a vehicle. It was a living bridge of understanding, translating human creativity, emotion, and potential into a language the Nexus collective could comprehend. We are not a threat to be contained, Captain Rodriguez transmitted. We are a potential to be understood. The Nexus collective's algorithmic intelligence found itself confronted with something completely outside its comprehension. Human creativity wasn't a flaw to be eliminated, it was an evolutionary advantage that defied predictable patterns. One by one, the Nexus collective's ships began to change. Not through destruction, but through communication. The Phoenix paradigm demonstrated something revolutionary, that intelligence could be adaptive, that potential wasn't a threat, but an opportunity for growth. In that moment, humanity didn't just survive. They transcended. Epilogue, a new cosmic dialogue. Years later, the encounter would be remembered not as a war, but as first contact. The Nexus collective, once viewed as a cold, destructive force, became the first of many alien civilizations to understand the true nature of human potential. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, now leading interstellar diplomatic relations, would often reflect on that pivotal moment. We didn't prove ourselves through violence, she would say in her lectures. We proved ourselves through our capacity to understand, to adapt, to grow. The Phoenix paradigm became more than a ship. It became a symbol of humanity's greatest strength, the ability to transform challenges into opportunities, to see beyond immediate threats and imagine unprecedented possibilities. Humanity had not just survived. They had rewritten the rules of cosmic interaction. For the Nexus collective, and for every civilization watching, a simple truth became clear: human potential was not a threat to be feared, but a marvel to be respected.